Hey guys, it's Fire here again, and today I'm going to bring you my third episode in the laning series, this time featuring Draven. So Draven's probably one of the strongest laners because of his Q. It creates a huge amount of lane pressure, it makes trading ridiculously easy, and you can transition that into a great mid game which is perfect for solo queue. So first thing I want to talk to you about is Draven's weaknesses. Now I think it's really important to understand how to play against the champion before you start playing it, to make sure that you don't do those things that make him weak. So the first thing is his Q. Now at level 1 your Q has a 12-second cooldown, and if you drop that axe, that is a huge window in which your enemy can trade with you, and you're going to lose that trade every time because your Q is all of your damage in lane. Now the second weakness is going to be his ultimate. So a lot of people just use his ultimate for a long range snipe or to clear the wave because they don't place any value on it, but it actually does a ton of damage. I mean, at rank 1 it can do up to 350 damage if it just hits the enemy AD on the way there and back, and that's around 30 to 40% of an enemy AD's health, which is a huge advantage when you're trying to trade. So there's nothing wrong with clearing waves with it, but if you're looking to fight, make sure you do have that ultimate available. So these next clips are just going to give you examples of how to trade as Draven in lane, and as I said before, it's extremely easy to trade because of his Q, and there are 3 ways you can really do that. So the first is just going to be manning up, running up to the enemy, leading with your axes, which I'll talk to you about later, and just attacking the enemy, because 9 times out of 10 Draven's going to do more damage than the enemy AD. Now the 2 slightly more effective ways I guess of trading is going to be using minions. So the first way using minions is going to be when the enemy AD comes up for a last hit. You want to attack them because they'll be attacking the minion, they won't be focusing on you, and you'll get a free hit in. And obviously after you've done that, all you have to do is then lead your axe backwards. So you've just done a 1 auto attack trade, and with Draven your 1 auto attack does a lot of damage, so that's enough of a trade. So the other way of using minions to trade is going to be when you go for a last hit. Now it sounds a little bit strange, but when you go for a last hit, the enemy AD will notice that, and 9 times out of 10 what they'll do is they'll just go for a last hit as well, because you're not going to be attacking them, because obviously you're going to go for a CS. Now what you want to do actually instead is attack the enemy AD. They're not going to be ready for an attack. 9 times out of 10 they're not actually going to attack you back either, because they're not ready for it and they want that CS. So even though you do miss out on a minion, establishing lane pressure through trading like that can force an enemy out of lane. You can end up getting a kill, which is obviously much more advantageous than actually picking up 1 CS. So this is just an example of trading effectively early as Draven. And you see I actually exchange a headshot there with Kate for one of my axes because I know that my Q actually does more damage than her headshot at this point. Now you see I'm just farming my Q so that I have another Q ready to activate if I do end up dropping my axe. Now Lulu's going to go really aggressive here, and in general when you're playing against Draven you always want to focus Draven. Now that's because he puts out so much damage, and if he's left alone he can just pick up his axes, he's not pressured, and most Dravens aren't going to drop an axe when they aren't pressured. So you see I actually do drop my axe when I'm fighting Kate there. Because I've been using my Q, I have it ready to activate again. So I activate it straight away and I pick up the second kill on Lulu. So one of the most important parts of Draven is leading his axes effectively. Now what I mean by that is, if you don't know, when you throw your Q, you can right click somewhere near you and the axe will then land in that place, so you can effectively choose where your axe is going to land. Now this is really good for either chasing or retreating. Combined with your W, which resets every time you catch your Q, you can actually get away or chase people really well. So I'm just going to show you a couple of examples of this. So in this clip I'm going to be using my axes offensively. Now I'm going to basically attack a minion, and then I'm going to place my axe in front of me to catch up with Kate. I'm going to pop my W to close in on her even quicker, and you'll notice that I deliberately don't pick up this next axe so that I can get the killing blow onto Caitlyn. I'm going to pop my barrier to absorb the Scion damage, and then as I'm chasing Lulu I'm going to place the axes in front of her or next to her so that I can keep up with the chase and keep attacking her. So this next clip is a little bit different because it's not in the lane phase, but I'm just going to show you, just pick up a kill here. I'm going to be leading my axes backwards. So it's basically what I was talking about trading before. If you see, I'm going to attack Scion and I'm going to place my axe behind me. This is just applying pressure onto Scion without any danger to me because I'm placing my axe behind me, so I'm always retreating. And now we're going for the kill. I'm going to place my axe forward so I can chase him, and we end up picking up the kill. Now Draven is obviously at his strongest when he has 2 axes spinning, but I often see people say that it's too difficult to catch both axes, so it doesn't really work and it's just a silly mechanic to have 2 axes spinning. Now what I'm going to do in these clips is I'm going to show you how to use 2 axes effectively, and it doesn't require you to catch both axes because admittedly that is very difficult to do. So as you can see in these clips, before I go in for a fight, when I recognise a fight is coming, I'm going to activate my Q again, and so I'm going to have 2 spinning axes. Now what this means is that during the fight I can focus on just catching 1 axe, but for the first couple of hits I'm going to have 2 axes spinning, and if I get lucky I can catch both of them, but it means that you have a massive burst of damage at the start of the fight, and if you also activate your Q before the fight starts, then your Q will be ready to be activated sooner, which means that you can activate it again, get another 2 axes, or if you've dropped both you can pick it up again. So this next clip is just going to demonstrate this. So I've got 2 axes spinning as you see there, and I'm going to use them on Thresh. Now I do actually manage to keep both of these active, but I use my ult and reposition so both ticks go on here. Now I'm going to lead with my Q into Tristana. I'm going to drop both axes and I'm just going to hit the last auto attack and let my passive kill her. So you see there, because I had 2 axes spinning, I was able to afford to drop both of them so that I could still get the damage onto Triss. So I said earlier, one of the things that made Draven weak is when he doesn't have his Q active in lane. Now at this point I'm just going to show you an example of this, and this is what you want to avoid. So you can see I'm just following with my Q, which is fine, but right here I drop my Q and Taric goes to engage. So at this point I can activate my Q again, but that's going to be on a 9-second cooldown because it's rank 3, and so I drop it again, and now I've got no Q. I can't fight because I don't have my Q available. But if I hadn't dropped that first axe when we were about to fight, then after I dropped the first one I could have instantly reactivated my Q and I would have been able to get a double kill out of this. So this last clip is just going to show you the potential of everything that I've showed you in this video. This isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I have both Qs active here. I'm going to lead with my Q. I'm going to ulti into him and get both ticks onto him. Now it's a bit sloppy because of the box and I didn't anticipate that was actually up. But you can see there I have both Qs active, so I don't have to worry about picking them back up. I know there's going to be enough damage and I pick up the kill. The last thing I want to say is the best way to improve with Draven is probably going to be through your Q cooldown. So if you always have it active, then if you do drop it, there's less pressure on you because you can just reactivate the Q again and you could still win that trade. So thanks for watching. Please do leave a like and subscribe, and also comment on which AD you'd like to see next. I'm going to be doing a mid laner series on this channel as well, so please do comment on which mid you would like me to do first, and follow me on Twitch. Thanks.